Hey guys, how are you doing today? Happy November 1st. I can't believe it's November already. Did you have a good Halloween? Definitely, we had probably one of my most favorite Halloweens ever with really good friends and our family. And it was a lot of fun, and I'm kind of feeling tired for it today. So anyways, but I'm here, and I'm a little bit later than I had hoped for, but I'm here and I'm excited to be talking about because it is November 1st and Thanksgiving falls in November, obviously, here in America. One of the things you start hearing people talk about is gratitude, right? And this is the time of year I think people tend to be more intentional about it because of Thanksgiving is coming up. And so you'll probably start seeing posts, and people will do these, 30-day challenges on being grateful and showing gratitude. And so I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. I'm going to be one of those people, and I'm going to talk about it several times this month. But today I just want to talk about how that there's scientific evidence that being grateful is good for us, right? It's good. Does amazing things to our brains, and there's just a whole host of like the health benefits of it. And I'm not saying like all you have to do is be grateful and your world is better, like your depression or anxiety goes away. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying adding this to it can definitely help in all the different areas of your life. So in some of the ways it can be helpful, it can definitely help improve your sleep, and which then also helps reduce pain. When we, sometimes it's at night, I know especially people tell me like, oh, it's hard, to fall asleep, and they're worrying about all this stuff. And it's like, if you can change the things that you're worrying about to the things that have happened that are good, can be definitely a good way to kind of switch that. And I know sometimes I've even found for myself that if I start worrying, I can't fall asleep or whatever, it's like, okay, wait a minute, what are some of the good things that happened today? Or what are some of the good things I need to focus on? And it does definitely help a lot. Another thing is grateful people are more likely to exercise and go outdoors, which we also know being outdoors has tremendous health benefits. There's studies that show that it can help improve your self-esteem. Of course, right? If you're grateful, you feel better about yourself and everything. Promotes empathy. It can reduce aggression. People that are grateful are less aggressive. Improves relationships and reduces stress, and can help reduce symptoms like post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, or anxiety. And then practicing gratitude actually helps rewire our brains and stimulates the production of dopamine, which is that feel-good chemical in our brain that we really need, and definitely we need more of that in our lives, right? We could all use more of that. So how do you, right? How can you incorporate more ways to be grateful in your life? One of the things, now that my kids are older, this would be hard to do with an infant, but you could do it with your infant present, of course. But all on the way to school, so I did drive both my kids to school, and we'll talk about what is one hope? We kind of set our intention for the day. What is your hope to accomplish today? What do you hope to do? And maybe my son or something has a spelling test or some test, and he might say, I hope I get a good grade, or I hope I score a goal during soccer at recess, or whatever it is. And my daughter started kindergarten, so her big one lately is making new friends. And then we'll talk about what are those things, how are you going to accomplish that? And I'll even let them know I'm working on this project, or I've been working on my book here now for years, it feels like, but definitely even more so in the last several months. I'll talk about I really want to get that chapter finished, or really reword something, so they know what I'm working on, or I have sessions all day, so I really hope I can be the best therapist that I can be for my clients today. So we'll talk about that, and how are we going to do these things? And then also, then at the end of the day, we'll check in. If I don't always get to pick them up, but if I pick them up, we're talking about what's one great thing, or what's, one single good thing. And we've been trying to do that more at dinner too. Sometimes we get away with talking about other random things. I don't forget to always go back to it, but it seems like when we're driving in the car is a good time to always have great conversations with them, because everybody's sitting still enough to listen to me and to each other. And so other ways you can do this is there's also 5-minute journals. You can write in a journal and that one's a good one because it like prompts you, asks you these kind of specific questions, and it asks you in the morning you fill out some questions, and in the evening you fill out questions. It really doesn't take that much time. But you could also keep your own journal. Like find, there's beautiful ones out there, pick a great journal and start writing down every day, like things that you're grateful for, and not the same things every day, or I'm grateful for my family. Of course, I'm always grateful for them, but what are like some other things I can think of to add to that list that are different, and I've been trying to be more intentional about writing different things and not just writing the same thing every single day. So doing things like that. And you can keep it in a notebook. I had a client that was telling me how their journal's just full of all the bad things that happen, because when they're really upset, it really helps them to write things out. And they were like, I was looking at it and it's like, I never have anything good because I don't think to go back and write those good things. So now it's like trying to practice and like writing down the good things that happen too, to also help them remember when they are having a difficult time, they can go back and be like, no, see, it's not always this bad. There are these really great moments, and I do have these great things that I am grateful for and are helpful and wonderful in my life. And sometimes we need those reminders. So that could be another good reason to start that journal. There's even great gratitude apps, which of course there are. There's apps for everything. And I had a friend that was pointing it out, where you can even add like pictures or do different things, and it'll prompt you with questions, kind of like that 5-minute journal and stuff like that. So, basically you just put in gratitude under apps, and a bunch of them like pop up and stuff. So, you should check that out. Or another great idea is keeping a jar for the year, and you can every day write down something you're grateful for. And then like at Thanksgiving, for instance, you can like go over and reread them and remind yourself of like all the great things that happened during the year. I think that's actually something I'm gonna try to do with my kids this year, now that they're both writing. I think it could be really fun to go back and look over the ones for the year, or even if it's just for the month, it would be really awesome too. And then one of the things I really try to do too is like, if something comes up, is to say it to even my family members when I'm grateful for them, is make a point of saying something to them. Or like sometimes in the middle of the day, I'll think of something, or I'll notice something my husband does, and I'll try to just text him and be like, oh, I'm so grateful that you did this, or I noticed this, and just let him know in those moments, and let my kids know in those moments, like, I appreciate that you finally put your shoes in the little shoe bin right there. The shoes were on the floor, but now they're actually in the bin that I've been trying to get you to do for months. And I'm like so grateful for that, because I think that makes me happy to have that nice space. What are some other things? And I don't know why this like popped into my head, but I was like thinking about this and I guess this goes along with gratefulness, and so bear with me for a moment, because I think it's a long-winded way to say it. But like, even with my kids, when I do get upset, because I do get upset, like, I'm a human being, we're all human beings, it's like really try to be intentional and be apologetic, and let them know, like, I'm sorry, like, I did get frustrated, I did get upset, and let them know when I've noticed that I haven't done something that is particularly like bringing out the best in myself. And one of the best things about it is that they always are so, pretty responsive to it and acknowledge it. And then I also know and notice how they are, they do the same thing to each other. Like, I notice them do to each other, and hopefully they do it out in the real world too. Like, if something happens and they've learned how to make amends for like moments when they've been upset about something, like if my son like yelled at my daughter because she played with his toy and he didn't like that or whatever, and then like come back and be like, this, I was upset because you didn't ask or whatever, but and then they're able to move on and go along it faster. So I'm like grateful for like those moments where we've learned how to share our feelings with each other, whether they're good or bad, and be able to talk about them later. And it's just, it's just a grateful moment. So anyways, that's not really with it, but for whatever reason that just kept popping into my head as I was like talking about this. But so this month we're going to talk a lot about being grateful and gratitude. And next week I think I'm going to talk more about, how to break this down. How do we do this? Because I think so often we're like live in this fast pace. We've got to always be doing something. There's all these things happening. Like, our kids are pulling us this way, our partner's pulling us this way, we've got work, we've got home stuff. There's like, how do we slow down in all this and be able to be in these moments and take these times to like sit with our gratitude? So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to also talk about how to kind of survive the hustle of the holidays, and how, you know, to use these tips to kind of help us with these moments and stuff too. So I hope this was helpful. I would love to know what you do to acknowledge what you're grateful for, how you show your gratitude to others. So feel free to share in the comments, and then I'll also share just a great article that I found helpful when I was doing some research and stuff. And I hope you guys have a great day. I'm grateful for you if you listen to this, and would be even more grateful if you felt like you wanted to share it. And until next week, you guys take care. Bye.